Hello, Hazem Kawasmi. You are the General Manager of the Municipal Development and Lending Fund here in Palestine, working closely with the Palestinian government to provide and manage the financial resources to the local government units in Palestine. I'm going to ask you a few questions on behalf of Al Safi Economic newspaper.
Please, go ahead.
So,
welcome.
Thank you. First, how is structured the MDLF to achieve his objective of providing those funds to the local government units in Palestine? What is the structure of this organization?
First, thank you for visiting us here at MDLF and at my office. You're mostly welcome.
Yes.
And it's a pleasure always for me to talk about MDLF and its functions, structures, and how we are helping the Palestinian community and the development of Palestine in this critical period. MDLF has been established so that it can, in a unique situation, as a semi-governmental organization, so that it can implement the policies of the government, the policies, rules, regulations that the government pursues through the Ministry of Local Government.
Okay.
That's why the Minister of Local Government is sharing our board of directors, and a number of governmental organizations are represented on the board. But it's not only governmental organizations, because the role of the municipalities is very important. So we have the two big municipalities represented in the board, which is Nablus Municipality and Hebron Municipality. Of course, together with civil society, because the role of civil society is very important, and it is requested to be as a key stakeholder with us and participate in the decision making of MDLF. So we have different representation on the board of directors. That's why I said this organization is a very important organization, because it's not a governmental and it's not a private, it's a semi-governmental. It works to implement the policies of the government through translating such policies into projects and programs that are implementable. And we support such projects with the municipalities. Our clients are the municipalities. So we provide our services and our money to projects, programs that support the municipalities to better serve their people. This is through two key channels. One is by directly supporting infrastructure development, and the other is by supporting the municipality itself, the structure and functions and the capacities of the municipality. So there's a capacity building package program that consists of a number of capacity packages, like strategic planning.
So you provide the package to the municipalities?
Yes, but based on their request. And the same with the infrastructure. We don't impose anything on the municipalities. We consult with them, we talk to them, we communicate. We have our daily contact with the municipalities. Our strength is our communication with the Ministry of Local Government and with the government, and our communication with the municipalities. The more we have clear understanding of the policies of the government, and we participate in shaping them from bottom up, to also communications with the municipalities, because at the end they have to submit the priorities based on their consultation with their communities. They submit to us their needs. I'm receiving everyday needs from the municipalities on projects that are of urgent need to their communities. And we decide here if it goes with our mandate, with our criteria, and then
we will come back to that.
And then we
approve that topic. Where do the financial resources come from? Like the Palestinian government, where does it come from? The taxation mainly, and also the donors. Who are they? Like, is it NGOs, countries?
We have 10 donors to MDLF, including the Palestinian Authority. We have, but they are all international community donors. like we have the World Bank institution, we have the French AFD, we have the German KfW. It's all government.
So it's private institution, private organization, international organizations?
It's, yes, governmental organizations that support us based on a decision from the government. And for example, if we have for example, if we have $100 million, we have 10% that the Palestinian Authority have to put from its money so that support and show commitment to such important organization. So 10% comes from the Palestinian Authority every cycle that we work on, and of course the rest from the international community.
And these 10%, where are they from? Is it like taxation from Palestinians or?
It's from the Ministry of Finance.
Ministry of Finance. Okay.
Of course, part of it is from taxation. But we have commitment also from the budget of the Ministry of Local Government also.
Fine. What are the responsibilities of the local government units toward the inhabitants of Palestine? Are they elected, or how is it working?
Yes, they are elected. Actually, today, the local government sector is one of the few democratic institutions on the public level. They are strong organizations because they are elected, and we hope that the democracy and the elections and the peaceful transform of power in all the institutions. Like democracy is not a one-time election. We have mayors and board of council members for the municipalities that need to be elected every 4 years.
And they are, how do you say that? They give the inhabitants like campaigns, projects.
We have campaigns.
Yeah, and like projects on what they want.
Of course, they promise before we have the campaigns where they promise what they will implement, what they will achieve for their communities, and their communities, whether in the Gaza Strip or West Bank, Northwest, Middle, in every locality, whether it's a municipality or a local government unit, as possible. Mayors and council members of municipalities are elected based on the program that they submit and they present to their people. And of course there's always some politics here and there, but I think we have a successful experience, and we are proud of the local government sector and the achievements until now. There are always challenges to how much the space, because we are living still under occupation. The financial resources are limited, many constraints, but our mayors and our local government leaders are trying their best to better serve the people. We are here to support them together, of course, with the Ministry of Local Government.
So you just talked about Gaza and the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. Is the Palestinian government acting in Gaza, or is there differences in also the MDLF actions in Gaza, in the Gaza Stripes, or in the areas A, B, C of the West Bank? Is it different?
We work as MDLF, and we have a government unity. We work in the Gaza Strip and West Bank in a very transparent, professional manner. Meaning, I deal with all the municipalities in the West Bank and Gaza with the same criteria.
The same way, okay.
When it comes to population, when it comes to performance, when it comes to anything that deals with the municipalities, I have 25 municipalities in Gaza Strip. I have 112 municipalities in the West Bank. I look at 137 municipalities. I don't differentiate between North and West or Southwest Bank. I don't differentiate between Gaza Strip or West Bank. We have criteria that apply to all municipalities equally.
But I guess it's harder in some places to implement those funds and those projects.
Of course, I mean every geographical situation in Palestine has its uniqueness, but we don't tackle issues that relate to political issues here. As a professional organization here, as a funding organization for the municipality, our criteria is based on the population, the transfer, the needs of the municipalities, and the performance. The key program here is Municipal Development Program, and the performance of the municipality. We want to encourage municipalities to perform better. So the more they are better in performance and supporting their people with better services, high quality services, they receive money from us more based on the criteria. The criteria is population, needs, and performance for the municipal development program. But we have other programs. We have a number of programs that deal with implementing the policies of the government, like, for example, programs related to amalgamation, where we are supporting amalgamation in the West Bank. This is for the West Bank. We have many villages that are not well functioning because they are small, they have limited resources, limited staff, and the number of population is small. So we try to encourage them to align and work together with a number of village councils around them in order to establish a strong joint service council or a strong municipality, so that they can better service and provide better services for their communities. So we have a special program, for example, for amalgamation, and it's doing well.
Okay, but you have different projects, and you also said that you don't take in consideration policies, but with more like the geographical situation on the ground of each municipalities, but still you are working closely with the Palestinian government. Yeah,
we have to differentiate between politics and policies.
Yes.
Policies, for example, amalgamation is a policy. Okay. And we support them. The Minister of Local Government supports the amalgamation policies. And this is not politics. I mean, we don't say this is Fatah, this is PFLP, this is Hamas.
You are linked to the Palestinian government.
The Palestinian government is a unity government. We have one president, we have one prime minister that works in a government that works in the West Bank and Gaza. We understand the political elements, that there are restrictions, there were divisions in the past. Still, the division hasn't been totally reconciled. But for us, we don't look at the political color. Okay. We don't look at the party, whether this mayor is from a certain political party or from another. Okay. We look at the municipality as municipality. We look at their needs as needs. The number of population identifies a key element in the money that they will receive from us, and the performance. Okay. So we're purely technical here. We don't look at the colors of the political affiliations of different mayors or board members or even region.
Fair enough.
But policies, yes, the policies, it's related to technical issues. It's related to decentralization or centralization. It relates to how the municipalities should work. But this is all under the umbrella of the decision of the Minister of Local Government and the government in general, the Prime Minister and the Cabinet, and the policies that relate to the technical work.
Fine. You receive every day, as you said, requests from the local government units, like about municipality services or local infrastructures. How do you proceed for the selection? Who is selecting, and how the projects beforehand? How is it working?
I mean, we're contacted by the municipalities yes, every day and every week and every month. But the issue, we have a certain time where we receive funds, for example, because we have fiscal years and funds are transferred to MDLF from the donors at certain times. And most of the donors, at the end of the year, they have yes, they have to know what to spend next year. And we try to work with the donors so that they meet their needs and we meet our needs. We have today, for example, and these days, we have since 2 months known roughly how much money we will be tackling in the coming year and a half and 2 years. So, and this is for the second cycle of the program of the Municipal Development Fund. It's a program, as I told you, a specific program among other programs that we are working. But we know upon the criteria and our calculations how much each municipality will have from us money. For example, a small municipality might get 30,000 euros. A big municipality might get 3 million, whether it's in Gaza Strip or West Bank. So they know their money.
They know how much they will get.
We inform them in a very systematic, official manner we inform every municipality. If that mayor visited us once or 100 times, it doesn't matter. We work very transparently, and we reach out to the municipalities. We tell them how much money, based on the transparent criteria, they will get. Now, when they know, for example, a municipality will know that they will get 200,000 euros, for example. So they send us, what they do, we request them to sit with their community and not just send out of their heads, you know, I want a water project, I want a sewage project, I want a container, it's not like this. Through our capacity building packages, we support them to hold workshops with their communities, so that they consult with all the key stakeholders in their communities, academics, private sector, governmental, non-governmental, women, youth, etc. And they together, through committees, they prioritize their needs, and they reach according to the strategic plan that together they prepare. Each municipality today in the West Bank and Gaza Strip has a strategic plan for 8 years, of course for the first 4 years, because every mayor is elected for. So they have clear project identification and prioritization for the projects that they need. So they say, this is number one, this is number two. They send us these projects that they have prioritized and selected together with their communities, and we look at them here. We look at them technically. Our engineering department evaluates the program, looks at the technical engineering issues. Our social expert looks at the social elements, whether it will affect the women participation, or the women didn't participate at all, or affect gender issues, etc. Or it will affect, for example, if a house will be destroyed so that the road goes through that line. So we don't want people to be harmed. So we check socially and we check environmentally. We don't want also to destroy the government by paying the municipality to destroy the government, the environment. So what we do is we look at different aspects and elements of the project. If it's fine, I mean, we should not impose or interfere in the project selection, because the community and the municipality have agreed on it. If there's no harm and it suits the criteria that we, together with all the municipalities and the donors agreed, and the government, then we send them initial approval, and then there's a process where we send them the final approval. And we don't pay the municipalities directly. The contractors implement the program, the project with the municipality, and we pay the contractors after they finish the project, and the project is well received by the municipality. The municipality informs us, okay, everything is fine, the road has been paved well, this building has been done, you can pay the contractor. Of course, through different installments, through payments, everything is always planned. We have stages that we go through, and the municipality is well informed about all the process. The ministry supports this, and the donors, they know exactly what we're doing, because at the end of the day, they are putting their money, it's taxpayers' money from their countries.
So the MDLF was created in 2005.
Yes.
What are the changes you have witnessed since you're working here, since the creation of this organization, and how was it working before, and what is your point of view on that?
Well, it started with a project unit, and a small unit in 2005, where there was thinking that something should be done in order to deal with projects that come to support municipalities. It started as a small unit, and then today we have the strongest organization in the local government sector as a semi-governmental organization. This did not happen in one day or night. It happened through phases, strong efforts from the Ministry of Local Government and the different consecutive ministers and the team of the ministry, and the staff of MDLF and the consecutive directors of MDLF, the donors, and of course there are already changes in the staff, but there were huge contributions from the government, from MDLF staff, and executive management from the donors who are closely cooperating with us. They're not just throwing money for free. They have limitations, they have to know where the money goes, and we have strong reporting system, almost monthly, but we have our midterm.
And how was it working before?
It was, when you start, then you start learning and you do things, you then improve them, you have your lessons learned. It starts by one unit, then you have a department, then it's a long history.
Process.
Of course, you can't sum it in a few minutes, but today it's an institution, a strong professional institution with strong professional team, management team and engineers in the West Bank and Gaza. We have 2 offices. The headquarters are in Alberia, here where you're sitting, and we have another branch office in Gaza, so that they are close to the municipalities and to the people, and they can better provide support and deal with the contractors, interviews, meetings, etc. So with our headquarters, and we are a strong organization, and it's not a project unit, so we're not just implementing projects. It started as a small unit and started growing, and then the evolution got us where we are today, and we are very proud and we are very thankful to all the efforts that led us here. Of course, we have a vision from the government, and this vision proved to be a very successful mission, a vision and mission, as this local government sector is one of the few sectors in Palestine that is developing even under the difficult situations that we are witnessing on a larger scale.
It seems to be successful, but are the Palestinians aware of the actions of the MDLF? And if yes, what are their opinions on it? And are they likely to... what do they think about the MDLF? Is there like a lot of communication from your organization, or not a lot?
We have our communication. And it's not important to talk about MDLF as MDLF, rather than we would like to have proper communication and awareness on the way we work, because transparency, professionalism, accountability is an issue and a challenge in the Palestinian context today. And we are challenged by this, and we're trying to be more professional. There's no limit for that. You have to keep improving things. Every year, every cycle of projects, you have to see the lessons learned, if there were mistakes, if there were deficiencies, if some municipalities did not respond as is, if the transfer mechanism and the way we transfer the money, the way we deal with the contractors, the way we deal with Gaza, the way we deal with the West Bank, different regions, big municipalities, small municipalities, local government units. We were not working in Area C in the past. Okay. Today we are working in Area C. We were not working with local government units, small ones that are not municipalities. For the past years, we're working mostly with municipalities and little with LGUs, especially those who are amalgamating. But starting next year, 2016, we have a special program for village councils. So we will be working with, together with the Ministry of Local Government. So we have, starting 2016, formally and officially, we'll be working with municipalities and LGUs and village councils and joint service councils. I mean, supporting them financially to help improve their performance. So now we're working with all constituents and LGUs in all sizes soon, and we are preparing for it. It's called LGSIP program. Okay. This will complement the other programs, for example, on amalgamation, on policy development, on municipal development, etc., etc.
Okay. I have a last question before we talk about the future and those programs coming. So, as the civil society may not be aware of all your actions as the MDLF or as the Palestinian government authority, how are you dealing, you or the government, with worldwide issues, so such as, for example, corruption, or in another, like in another field, environmental issues? How can you manage that, and how are you trying to fight against it?
Yes, as I told you, we work in a very transparent manner. We have many auditors on different levels. We have internal auditors, external auditors. We have missions from the donor community that are supporting MDLF. They come regularly to see where the money is spent, to see the projects on the ground. It's a very transparent manner. And
so you are able to fight corruption, like efficiency?
We don't have corruption. We don't fight corruption. We don't have corruption. We try to struggle against any efforts that might lead to corruption. So we prevent corruption.
Okay.
We don't have corruption. We have we're working professionally and transparently. But of course, it's not an ideal world. So there are always people who are have malicious intentions, but we plan well here. Our communications is, yes, we say we want to work transparently, and municipalities are very responsive. They are reacting very positively, especially when they became elected and more democratic transformation is taking place in this sector. We don't deal directly with the people so that we communicate with them, but we communicate the messages as a key player together with other players on how the local government is functioning and the vision for the local government sector in Palestine is going, where is the direction. One of the communication issues that we focus sometimes is that the citizens should not be harmed by any project that we're implementing. As I told you, the social aspects,
environmental issues,
including also the environmental issues. We want a better environment with our projects, not to harm the environment. So we pass such messages so that if somebody who has a house or a project, and then the municipality is getting some funds from us to implement an infrastructure project, he knows that he will be harmed. Sometimes he complains to us, or complains in the media, etc. Our message is clear to all the public, and I think that this puts another burden on all of us, that the projects should be fruitful, because the end beneficiary is the citizen. We don't want mega or super municipalities. In our capacity packages, we support them so that they support their communities and people. It's not the ultimate goal is not the municipality or MDLF or the ministry. The ministry, as a leader in the sector, together with MDLF and with the municipalities, we try to put the best out of our intellectual capacities, the resources that we have, so that it pours into servicing our Palestinian citizens.
Okay. So now, what are your priorities as a new general manager of MDLF?
I'm acting general manager. Still, the general manager has resigned only 2 days ago. So,
okay. That's very new.
As a matter of transparency, it can't be that in the same day or in 2 or 3 days there's one who will be appointed permanently. I've been the director of operations for 4 years, and by law I was chosen by the board of directors to be acting director. So I will continue in my capacity as director of operations, but I have new responsibility. It's a big responsibility that I will be the acting director general for the coming period.
You were talking about these programs, the village council,
yes,
and the LGC's program.
The LGC program. My priorities as acting director general today is to continue as a strong professional, technical and transparent organization, to improve issues that are from the lessons learned. We are closing some issues, and we are opening some other issues. For example, in the municipal development program, we are closing cycle 1, and we have started with cycle 2 for another year and a half. We have the other programs on amalgamation. We have LGSIP for the village councils and joint service councils. We have a program for the policies. All the programs of MDLF and projects and activities should make one story. We are a semi-governmental organization that implement the policies of the government, where the policies are not static or rigid. They are dynamic, and the Minister of Local Government consults with us all the time. We are very closely linked to the Minister of Local Government. We consult on a daily basis with the Minister and with the Deputy and with the Director Generals on all different issues with each department. And we consult with the mayors, with the big mayors in Nablus, in Hebron, in Ramallah, Al-Biri, Bethlehem, Gaza, Rafah, Jabalia, all the municipalities, without naming one municipality. And we don't want also the smaller municipalities to be less advantaged. So we try to work a fair game at the end of the day. The priority is to build on the success of the past years and to improve more and more and build, try to avoid whatever mistakes or deficiencies that have been in the past. We're starting a new phase in the coming period. For MDP, it's cycle 2. We're trying to think how can we try to innovate and put creative ideas in some of the activities that we have.
Are you working with young people? Or with
we are working with young people, and the issue is we need, one of the programs is called Local Economic Development, LED program. It's new, and we are trying to help the municipalities to look at the economic situation in its community. It's not that the municipality should look only at infrastructure, roads, electricity, sewage, but look at the whole geography and the people, and see how can we move with this community and these people, because they are our clients, into a better situation. Less unemployment, less poverty, more jobs, more investments, and better services for the public. Ideas like electronic services and automation that decreases all the time any corruption that might be here or there. So automation is important, and we're moving into electronic services, introducing renewable energy projects. Europe is not far. We travel, we learn, we see where advanced countries. We have been in France and to learn about the amalgamation, for example, successful policies. In Denmark, in Brussels, and we don't need to reinvent the wheel in Palestine. We have successful experiences in all the topics, in infrastructure, in local economic development, in service delivery, that we have to see how to do some, to tailor such successes outside to fit the Palestinian context, so that we can succeed. We can't just copy and paste. Every community and every story outside has its own uniqueness, so we try to learn, think, sit together here as management, together with the board of directors, and see how can we take that idea and implement it. We have the hell of ideas. There are many ideas. Even under occupation, you will be surprised. Even under occupation, and we hope we can finish with this military occupation soon and establish our Palestinian state. But if we can't, we cannot give up. We cannot surrender. We have to live. We have to marry. We have to have infrastructure, proper infrastructure, a proper economy, so that then our citizen can, we need resilience at the end of the day. We need people to live. And that's why I think it's a big commitment, it's a big responsibility. And my new responsibility as acting director general, as you can see, is not an easy job in addition to the past responsibilities, but I'm not alone. We have a strong team here in MDLF, strong managers, and we have all the support from the Minister, His Excellency, and the Ministry, and the donor community and the municipalities.
Thank you very much for answering my questions.